Hey, welcome. This is Leah Bales, your host for the Becoming More show. Today, we're talking about heart thinking, tapping into your deepest clarity, guidance, and wisdom. Think for a moment about a time in your life when you've just known in your heart something was right. You may not have known why, it may not have made sense logically. Maybe you even said to yourself or other people, I don't know why, I just know in my heart it's right, and you went ahead and did it. Remember how that turned out? What happened when you did that? How that felt? And now think of a time when you may have done, as I have and most of us have, when you may have known in your heart something was not right, and you did it anyway. And maybe you even said to yourself or other people afterwards, in my heart, I knew that was not right and I did it. Maybe it was a relationship ending or beginning. Maybe it was going someplace. Maybe it was saying yes. Maybe it was taking a job. Something that you knew in your heart was not right and you did it. And remember how that turned out. All of us have had these experiences, and absolutely no shame and no blame if you've done the second one. I think everyone I know has. All of my clients we have times in our experience when we've known things were right and we did them. Usually those turn out remarkably well. Times we've known in our heart something was not right and we did it, those don't tend to turn out well. They tend to get us into sticky situations, into things that don't feel good to us. Sometimes they make us sick. Sometimes we have compounded problems from it. The good news is it's all a learning experience. No shame, no blame in having done something your heart knew wasn't right, but it's great learning experience. It's great evidence to look back on. How do things turn out for you when you do listen to that heart inside? How do they turn out for you when you don't listen? And today we'll talk about a process, an easy, simple process that you can use for tuning into your heart, for shifting from head thinking into heart thinking so that you can tap in to that deep place of clarity and guidance and deep, deep wisdom. So when we think of the head intelligence and the heart intelligence, there are some differences in those two. And actually, we know now from scientific evidence, if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, we've talked about it a lot, that the heart actually electromagnetically is even stronger than the brain. It has more going on. It's sending out more signals all the time, even than the brain. We can say, and many scientists do, the heart is even more intelligent than the brain, and yet we tend to override it. And the two are different. Now, I want you to know going into this, we don't want to actually choose. We don't want to say, I'm going to be a head thinker or I'm going to be a heart thinker and box ourselves into that, because the brilliance is when they work together in harmony. The problem, as I see it, is that for a couple of thousand years, we've been more focused in Western culture on head thinking and have neglected heart thinking, and we need it. We need it for our own well-being, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritual, and we need it for the good of the world. So head thinking, or brain-centered thinking, tends to be analytical, divisive, setting things up into divisions. It tends to be more computational. It tends to be more seeing the difference between, comparing. Heart thinking has the quality of connecting, connection in your deep self between people. You have more the quality of this and this. We have the realization that there can be different ways of viewing things, and there can be truth in all of them. So the heart is a connector. The heart has a more intuitive, holistic, integrative quality of intelligence. And in that, we want to then not, of course, say only the heart is right. We're only going to think from the heart, but we want to have the integration of the intellect of the brain, the wisdom and intuition of the heart and the brilliance of the body. So the way I teach this is really a connection of all three of those. We're focusing on the heart because it's the center, it is the integrating element of all of those. And when we can shift from brain thinking into heart thinking, it gives us much deeper answers and guidance and tends to take us in the direction our inner self, our soul needs to go. So how do we do it? So just very, very briefly, we'll start now and we'll deepen it a bit in a minute. You shift from the focus here behind the eyes, in the physical brain, in the head, where lots of us have lots and lots of focus, and we consciously shift it down into the center of the heart. In doing that, you come into your body, you're present, and things begin to get a little quieter. Walt Disney wrote, "Let your heart guide you. It whispers, so listen closely." Let your heart guide you. It whispers, so listen closely. So when we're making that shift from the brain to the heart, we get quieter. We often need to unplug from distractions when we're distracted by doing lots of things, by computers, internet, phone calls. We tend to be up in the head, going in lots of directions. When we have lots of thoughts churning around, when we're trying to figure things out, we've got that busy, busy, busy brain. It actually doesn't think very well. It works against full creative thinking. So we drop out of that busy, busy, busy into the deeper, quiet heart. And you can actually just put your hand on your heart. You can do it with your eyes closed or your eyes open. Feel your feet on the floor because we want to be grounded in the body, supported in the body, and just allow the focus of your attention to shift right down from the brain into the heart. Feeling the heart. So the most important part of heart thinking is just remembering to take time to drop into the heart and feel and quiet down, slow down a bit, and listen. When do we want to do this? Well, it's an amazing thing to do for so many times. If you catch yourself in that frazzled place of like, oh, I've got a million things going on, how am I going to get them all done? Remember, you're not effective. Drop down into the heart. The heart will remind you of what really matters, and you can ask the question. You breathe into your heart, you feel it, and you might even ask in that situation, what is my next best step right now? What is my next best step right now? And when you can quiet down, you may be able to notice that. There may be an image, there may be an impulse, and you're not trying to do 20 things. There's one thing that comes from the intelligence of the heart and guides you. Anytime you get into mental spins, I was talking with a client the other day who was realizing she was really into comparing herself. And she was feeling like she wasn't as confident, as competent as some other people. She was noticing even her son, we get into comparing. We often think our little kids aren't doing as well, or our grown kids aren't doing as well, and we can get into that. That's a brain place. It tends to lead to misery, that comparing, am I doing as well as this person or that person? Even if you come out better, or you come out not as good in your comparing, it's a very toxic brain pattern. So you notice, that comparing, I'm in that comparing. So she and I talked about that. Notice, comparing, drop into the heart. Feel the heart. And in the heart, she was able to feel who she really is, her wholeness, that she herself has value. She was able to feel her confidence coming from connecting with who she really is in the heart. And when she looked with eyes from her heart at her son, she realized he is amazing and perfect. and so wonderful in so many ways, and that comparing was getting in the way of her doing her best mothering. The best mothering, the best work we do in any way in the world, I believe, comes from seeing from the heart and taking action from that. So it was noticing, oh, my brain is in that comparing place, shifting down. All of us have some of those toxic brain patterns. You can notice it kindly, drop into the heart. One way to drop quickly in the heart is just to say thank you. Thank you, heart, for being here. Thank you, body. Thank you for this moment. Immediately, that shifts you into the heart. You breathe, you feel, you notice gratitude, you notice the breath moving through. It shifts you out of that thinking brain into the feeling, sensing, loving heart. Connecting with your heart is a fabulous thing to do whenever you need guidance. But I have a little bit of a caution on this one. Sometimes people think that they're going to their heart for guidance on the whole big picture. Like, for instance, last year I was working with a woman who had a lot going on in her life. Everything was in upheaval. And she said, I want to do this. I want to come from my head into my heart. And I'm asking, what do I do with my life? It's a big place to start. You can find that in your heart, but probably not as the very first practice. So what happens with that is it becomes really overwhelming. And there's so much that it's not the best place to start. So a great place to start is right here, right now, every day. Take time practicing, feeling your heart. Notice when you're up in your head, drop your attention, your eyes, your sensing, your body felt sensation right into your heart, supported by your belly and your legs, and feel and notice. And then start with asking a littler question. Maybe your question is, what's important for me to remember today? Or maybe even smaller. Oh, dear heart, because you can ask your heart, you can turn to it and ask a question. Oh, dear heart of mine, what's important for me to remember right now, this hour? What do I need to know this hour? Or like we talked about a little bit, if you're really frantic, getting ready for something, you've got 100 things to do, drop into your heart, drop into your legs, into the earth, into your body, feel your breath in your heart and ask your heart, what's the first thing for me to do right now? What is the most important thing to do right now? Well, what do I need to know today? Maybe there's a situation you've been in turmoil with. Again, you're trying to figure it out. You can drop into your body, feel your breath, put your hand at your heart, feel your heart beating, breathe through it and ask, show me what I'm not seeing. Sometimes that's helpful. Show me what I'm not seeing. If you don't even know what question to ask, that's okay. You can drop into your heart and just say, thank you for showing me what I need. You may not have a question yet. You might ask your heart, what next? So as you start doing this, you're building your muscles. You're building the muscle of noticing when you're stuck in your head and it's counterproductive. And you're building the muscle of being able to drop in and feel your heart and listening there, noticing. So every single day, regular practice, a couple of times or several times, I think are super helpful when you first wake up in the morning. I'm not a fan of alarm clocks because I think that time when you first wake up in the morning is really a rich, soulful, spiritual, important time, healing time. So when you first wake up in the morning, feel your body, feel your breath, tune into your heart. Good morning, heart. Thank you for guiding me. Good morning, heart. What's important for me to know today? Good morning, heart. How would you guide me to be today? Noticing that being is a heart question, and our doingness is more effective when it begins with being. So dropping into your heart in the morning, and maybe you're not even asking a question, maybe you're just feeling the energy, the warmth, the tenderness of your heart. You let your breath move through, you feel it, and you notice. Also, when you're falling asleep at night, when you turn out the light, you put your book aside, you've stopped talking, whatever you're doing. As you're falling asleep, feel your sweet, beautiful, brilliant body and feel that deep, tender, wise heart. Notice what's there. Giving gratitude for the day you've had, giving gratitude for the heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Often I like to go to sleep with the words, I love you, thank you. Those are heart words. I love you, thank you. So fabulous ways to practice when you wake up in the morning, when you go to sleep at night, tuning in to your heart, practicing the connecting with the heart thinking, and then take it through the day. Take some time to go out and sit on your deck, sit in the forest, sit in your garden, sit in a place in the house you love, and just let your mind get quiet. Or maybe it's busy and you just let it be busy and you still drop down into your heart, into your body. You breathe, you feel the warmth of your heart. And again, if nothing else, just saying, thank you, thank you. As Walt Disney said, let your heart guide you. It whispers, so listen closely. When you think of that right now, let your heart guide you. It whispers, so listen closely. Let your heart guide you. Notice not your whole life, not every decision, but right now. What is your heart guiding you to right now, this minute, this hour? Enjoy that, follow it, and you will be increasing your capacity for heart thinking, moment by moment, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. I'd love to hear from you. Questions you have about this, thoughts you have, how it works for you, let me know. Thanks so much.